All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is January 17th, 2017. This is the Tuesday night training webinar. And the title of tonight's webinar is All Things New in Object Trader with Power Meter Trades. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar, other webinars we might have, our live trading room, or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? If not, we are going to get started. All right. Now, real quick, as we get started, we do have some new members. Welcome, new members, and also our members that have been with us a long time. I don't think we've got too many trialers in this week because we had a promotion for 2 straight weeks. So that's come and gone. May have a few trialers in tonight, though, just normal that come into the website. So welcome also. Without further ado, let me go ahead and take this down, and we'll get to a chart. All right, you should be able to see a chart. Now, the new Power Meter 1 and Power Meter 2 are based on lightning breaks. They are based on identified lightning breaks, which is your most important one. That's the one that's going to fake you out the least, because as everybody knows, when you identify lightning, you're pretty much starting to stair step the other direction, right? So you're stair stepping up, you roll over, and you're stair stepping down. Now, real quick on this chart, let me just squeeze it up a little bit so you can see what is the overall direction on the chart by what you're seeing there. Yeah, it's pretty much to the downside, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's go ahead and put another indicator on here so that we can tell for sure. We'll put the dynamic trend. That's our little mid-band and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on. Bear with it a second. It should load. And I'll get the predictors off for right now. So see, our scripts even tell you that it's a downtrend also. Notice that you basically have a downtrend situation. Now let's go ahead and go with our lightning. And looks like we're about through here. You've got resistance right up here at 794, right? And I'm going to go ahead and change that to a lighter color until we get to the regular chart. We'll set it as default for now. And then you've got support right under here, don't you? Just pretty much under 72. So let's see if a new tool might be able to make you some coin. Now, I just started this basically. It's just looks like my market replay is like 9:30 at night. Okay, if somebody wants to trade at 9:30 at night. I don't know if you do or not. You know, if you do, you can obviously do that. And we'll see if we can get something on this real quick. Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to get my regular chart, get it ready to be done. Okay, and this looks like it may be even closer to midnight actually. But let's go ahead and do a little trade. Everybody see what we normally look for? See how resistance was right where I drew the line on the other chart? And we're going to use Power Meter. We could actually use 1 or 2. Now, when you first turn Power Meter on, at least the version that I've got right now, it turns off everything to where you choose which way you want to go. Okay, but if you turn these on, they stay on, and that's not what I want. I want a little, either a switch box or a way to actually keep them on if I want them to, or to turn them off each time a trade is entered, like scaling in and things like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can get us a little trade. I'm going to go ahead and do YM. Let's do 4 contracts. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to wait for that meter to turn red, and Since this is fairly sideways, I don't know if I'd be taking a long yet, especially with that mid-band like that, until it actually takes that out, okay? Now, what it would probably need to do would be to thrust up, pull back, kiss, give us a little red meter, and then go back long, okay? But right now, we're looking at a red mid-band. We've already had a phantom trade. You got lows down here, and you've got highs right here, okay? So we've all said that we're looking for short, so let's just go ahead and see if we can get us a short. Now watch it blow up through the mid-band. We don't care though, it won't fire if that's the case. As long as that meter stays green, it's not going to fire. Now y'all don't have this yet, everybody knows that, right? When you go to your object trader type and you go to your little drop down, it doesn't go to PM1 or PM2. It will though. Okay, I'm just testing out to get everything the way I want it and get this thing ready to roll. Okay? Exactly. All right, so let's just wait and see if we can get a trade. Now, this is actually going at about 4 times normal speed. Right now, we don't want to kick it up too much more than that. It may take a little bit for it to fire because the way I see it, it's going to fire right under there. Okay? Now that's right now though. What if this actually makes a higher low and pops up above mid-band, then it might have a little higher entry that it'll roll over. We'll see what it takes. Or if it's going to take anything at all, maybe we'll get up here to resistance up here at 807 and maybe get a rollover. But until that meter changes, it will not fire a trade because we are looking for short enabled. For right now anyway. Remember I said if it takes this out and comes back and kisses it, we'll be looking for longs. But right now we've got a red mid-band, we've got red background sideways here, but your phantom is still stepping down, your mid-band stepping down, everything's stepping down. So let's see if we can get something. That's the one thing about doing things in the middle of the night. They're sometimes just too slow. But I downloaded data and everything and just pretty much just moved the slider over and started the chart. Let's see, it fires under that lightning on the close of a candle. Correct, what it has to do, let's just go ahead and draw it as a matter of fact. Lightning 1, let me see if I can get lightning 1, draw from over here, there we go. All right, lightning 1, basically you've got a swing right under here that has not popped up yet, okay? So basically this could fire more than likely right there if it breaks that. And it depends, the price action, it may even just fire right under here. Okay, we're going to have to find out when it actually does this little zigzag and we'll see where it actually takes it. Okay, so far we're still, looks like to me now it'll more than likely fire right in through there. We'll see, we'll just wait. It may still head up. We're going to take it either way. We don't care. Everybody see why we don't care? Because we're waiting on a power meter type trade. I'm going to speed it up a little bit more. That is 10 times, but that's still too slow. When you get up this time of night, you probably want to get your cup of coffee, relax, and stare at charts because they take a while, obviously. That's close to midnight now. No, it's actually 10 o'clock at night. Probably should have slid it over more into the day here, but I had some calls come in. I had to get some scripts on, so I just slid the slider over so we could have a spot that we could trade, and we'll wait for it. Yeah, not a wick. It's basically, it's based on lightning, Sherbet, on your question. And what you do is it's based on lightning 1 and also lightning 2. Lightning 2 is power meter 2, lightning 1 is power meter 1. And you can actually control when it takes the trade by simply setting your close ticks. If you want it to close plus ticks, you can set this. If you want it to close just the close of the bar, you can set it like that also. Okay? So this will control this up here. We getting any movement at all? Boring. We get that in the room all the time though, don't we? Let's just do it like it's trading live. That's what we're doing. Best way to learn, isn't it? Now, one thing about this, if you have a power meter that's green, you cannot fire a long, okay? For instance, if I turn this to long right now, it will not fire because it's already green. Now, I am going to talk to my programmer about watching swings, even though it's already triggered. And for instance, if it did close above this, then very possibly we could get it to fire, okay? That's probably something that'll be added a little bit later on. This is enough of a chore for him to get this all done, because this is quite a little trader that actually does this, because it's looking at those swings, you know, in real time. So, you know, obviously we know where they are, and we could box it in too. Everybody realizes that, right? Like, see, under 788, I could probably box this in, because you can clearly see that it's holding resistance. It's trying to go through support, and we'll see if it fires. I'm going to change these to a different color. They're too light. That's good enough right there. All right, let's see if we can get a trade. I fired one on 6J earlier, you know, just testing it out on the computer and everything, and it got that nice long little pop. I'm going 30 times normal speed, and this is how slow this bar is. Have you ever sat watching bars and just think, oh my goodness? I watched a bar today on YM, and I think it took 20 minutes. And I knew it was hitting its head, so I just boxed it in, and sure enough, it actually headed down instead of up. Now let's see if we get our power meter. We don't have a power meter yet. Power meter 1 is still to the long side because that did not close below that. See how it wicked it? Popped back up. It's going to, there you go. You got power meter 2 anyway. Let's see if we can get power meter 1. And by the way, you can use both. Now I can't use it now though, because see, it's already in the trade. That would have fired that trade. Now my power meter 1 has to be read for this one to fire. Okay, so let's just wait and see what we get. This is slow, slow, slow. Hopefully 100 times won't be too quick. There you go. All right, you got your power meter 1. All right, now what I normally do is I look at my swing. We don't even have a scalp yet, obviously. You know, we're just barely up. Notice how that fired on the power meter though? Pretty cool. What you want to do then is get a couple of targets out of the way. Make sure that, say, one of them's down here at the bottom, for instance. You know, you figure they're going to kind of tag the bottom. There's a predictor there showing. And let's see here. Now, there's a bottom right under here too. Go ahead and put one of them right there. And then we'll put one of them right, yeah, on top of Phantom. That's good enough. That's about 7 and 13. See if we can get something. Now notice we're just flat right now. We're just at cost minus the spread. Power meter 1. Power meter 2 actually fired quicker than power meter 1 did on that one. By the way, I like power meter 2 pretty well too, because it doesn't get you fake ends as easily. And you do know that you can make power meter 1 or power meter 2 anything you want them to be. You could use a 6-range bar if you wanted to. You know, if you want to be more sure of your trade. Let's see if this gets anything. Let's see. Now notice we would have boxed this in anyway, so we would have probably been filled on that bar if we boxed it in. I'll speed this up to about 10 times because otherwise it's going to take all night to get this trade. Our stop's just right above here. I usually use exit on close. Simply because if it pops up above mid-band, we'll probably want out the trade. Got a little money on it, not much. 20 bucks is 20 bucks. Wouldn't pay for the 4 contracts though. We got to get at least to, 100, 150, something like that before you ever click the trigger, because your commissions will be, say around $4 a trade. So 4 contracts is 16 bucks. So obviously you don't want to just click it. Here you basically only have $24. We're in the trade. Pretty nicely, huh? Now, as long as it's below that mid band, what I would highly recommend doing would be not to turn on longs, unless you just want to, because for instance, let's see right down here. If this came down and you turned long on, it would have fired the trade right there on that bar. So you did get a little trade. This one here would have probably only fired right in through here, so you would have gotten a trade. We're up a little bit, trying to get a target. Now, I like to draw trend lines on my charts. Y'all know that, so I'm going to draw a trend line. We don't know if it's going to go this low, but let's draw it anyway. Yeah, probably not. That's a pretty major trend line. 19,700, I doubt it. But see how the little tool fires by itself? That way, you don't have to worry about, boxing or something like that if you don't want to, because the little tool I found is working pretty well, especially if you stay with the overall trend. For instance, over here to the left, green background, heading down, pops right here. That's a nice trade, okay? Right over here, I'm not sure if you would have gotten a trade here because that didn't close above on any of those. So I doubt if you would have gotten that long. Second mid-band. Usually when you get a second mid-band that close, you really want to watch that one to begin with, because usually when you're going to really use these mid-band trades, it's going to thrust up, pull back a little bit, and it's not going to go yellow. Very seldom that happens. Usually it'll stair step up, give you a beautiful trade, then it'll turn yellow, then it'll head up again. Okay, so when they just barely 2 yellow bars in a row after that quick, I wouldn't touch that trade. Well, let's see if we get something here. Not too shabby. Now, what if you wanted to add on to the trade? If we take some targets, that is. Let's see if we get some targets. Slow again. I got this thing going 15 times. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to crank them up when you get up and just tell the market to move faster? Sometimes it's too fast, but a lot of times it's like watching grass grow. That's why you've got to develop the patience to trade it. You just got to. That wouldn't be a bad little trade actually right now, but I think it'll get down to that low at least. Sure looks like it would. Now I want to draw you another lightning on here because I really like lightning too. I want to show you why. We'll draw lightning 2 from, say, right up here. That's our shift key. Doesn't look like it's going to draw yet, so we'll draw it from down here. There we go. All right, so your swing's right there on lightning 2. It just gives you a lot more. There you go. It just came down further, so it's firing the line. And you'll watch lightning 2 just kind of meander down. Now, how many of you get out of a trade when you get a little bit of profit and then miss a good move or something like that? We don't know if this is going to be a good move yet, but it's looking pretty good, like they want to take out support, doesn't it? Yeah, sure bet on your question. I agree. Developing patience is really key to trading, because the markets, it's almost like they've got a sixth sense if you chase a trade. If you chase a trade and buy a thrust or sell a thrust, that's usually when they retrace on you. You know, and we're all guilty of it because you think, oh my gosh, I just walked away and I missed that. And you just click market order and then you think, why in the heck did I do that? Because I can tell you this, that most times when you walk in and your mind says, wow, look at that, it's dropping, wait for the little retrace, you got to. You know, for instance, if you weren't in this one just yet, you could have obviously even boxed this in right here. That's a good little trade. Now, where would our stop be on this one? Identified swing is right here, right? And I'll go ahead and turn that so we know we got 2 contracts left. All right, now watch your lightning 2. Go ahead and get these out of the way. It looks like a pretty good run. They finally woke up, didn't they? Now where's lightning? Identified lightning. Right there. Exit on close still. What a monster. Now what if you missed this trade? Okay. Now usually when I've got a couple left, I'll let it retrace on me because we don't know where it's going to retrace, but a predictor's telling me where it's going to retrace already. When they print, that's usually looking at that price action and saying, you know what? I've got a feeling we're going to retrace right to there. Now we could get out and back in if it does that. Or we could just simply add, if we get a power meter to the green side, and we did, this is one of the things I'm going to add to power meter. See how that short stayed on anyway? That's going to automatically short another 4 contracts. So let's just do 2 if the power meter goes red again. Okay. Stop still above the lightning swing. Power meter is green. Hadn't gone red yet. We'll see. Just let it do its thing. Still green, isn't it? Well, that's right, almost at that predictor. I'd probably just actually click the sell button simply because that's where our scripts are saying that it should hit its head. Right there, see it? But let's let the power meter do its thing. See if we can get a little rollover. Now, one thing about a breakout type trade, you see that we don't have a lightning swing that's broken yet because it's still stair-stepping up so far. Only when it takes out that green to the downside will it actually short this, or it's going to retrace a little bit and it'll make another drop, possibly. We don't know yet. But see how you're getting higher lows so far? Right there. There's a little thrust down, little retrace. Lightning 1 will actually grab that if it closes below that swing right there. There you go. You got 4. Now that's, like I say, that's a little bit of a breakout trade. All right, let's go ahead and put our stop right there. Identified swing is at 19,769. Maybe a double bottom, but not yet. Let's see, is there a reason you are using power meter 2 on the chart instead of 1? I used power meter 1, see, right here, power meter 1, PM1. I'm using lightning 2 to check my swing so it's not quite so noisy. Good little trade, huh? Now let me ask you a quick question. If you were trading this with your real account and everything, all right, we've got a swing right across here that's identified, right? Just right there at 17,962 area. I want to show you a little trick that you can use. If it's below midband, you want to really be watching for the power meters to be the red side. See, we got a beautiful trade on here. Probably ought to move 1 target, shouldn't we? And by the way, when they actually start dancing back to the upside, you can actually go ahead and shut the trade down with the power meter too. See, because right now you would have to break this swing right here, but see, it's making a lower high so far. So we haven't gotten a power meter 1 to the upside just yet. See how perfect that works out? There you go. Just got it. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to slow this down for just a minute, and I want everybody to realize that you do also have stair-stepping always on your charts, okay? Now, one thing you want to watch for, especially when you're trading on these fast markets, see how you've got a swing right across here that's just above mid-band? You've got a swing right here that's just right at mid-band? Did you know that's your identified swing right there? What if we did this? Just in case, we don't know if it's going to do it, but if it takes out this swing, could we take a chance on this of heading up? Well, you could always have it on. This may roll over, and if it does, it's fine, but it came right down to a predictor. Came within 2 ticks of it. And when they come down to those predictors like that, you got to really watch them. Rolling over it, mid-band so far, still holding, power meter's red. Does everybody see, though, that just the way I teach this all the time, I'm going to pause this for just a second. You have a high, you've got a low, you've got a swing that's identified when this low is taken out, right? Then you come back up. When is this swing identified? When it takes out this swing here. It thrusts down. It makes a swing, but when did we know this is a swing? Was when it took out this side over here. Thrusts up again. When did we know this is the swing rather than this one? When it took out this swing here. So once it took that out, we're still heading down, right? But what if they take that back out to the upside, or even this one here? Could we be starting to stair step back up? That's one thing that this power meter will actually catch too. I like it for that. We'll see if we get it. We don't know yet. It's still a yellow bar probe so far. We're in a pretty decent trade. Is there a reason? Let's see. Somebody, you already asked that. Let's see. You meant lightning 2, right? Power meter 2 is lightning 2. Yeah, I think you're going to like the power meter confirmation because, you know, that's the way we trade it to begin with. So why not automate it? Right? Why not go ahead and automate it? Well, got really slow again. You can tell when markets do that, can't you? They thrust and then they sit there for 30 minutes again. That's what happens. Let's see, so you're set to reverse at the first power meter turns green. Well, if you do that, let me tell you what you have to do though. Okay? If this was to reverse, for instance, if it took this out, that's my lightning swing, that would be identified, right? So in other words, if it thrusts up above it, pulls back into the line and takes off, we could easily be changing directions, but we still got a red background. Okay? But anytime they thrust like this, there's always the chance for a good retracement. But so far, we're still below our line, so we're okay. Now notice I've got my stop way up here because if this does happen to actually pop back above this, I might take a shot. That's just like we do in the room. You know, when we say if it takes out 740, you know, I'm going to take a shot at a long. Now, does that mean that this won't go ahead and head on down? No. But if we get a higher low and they start taking that out, we could easily change trend directions too. Now you notice I've got the long on with reverse. It won't fire a single thing unless that meter turns green. Okay, if we keep heading down, we may get this trend line after all. We'll find out. I wasn't up at 547. Can you explain where and when the PM2 will turn green? Well, actually, I can tell you exactly where it will, Chris. See this little thrust up with no zigzag? Pulls down, it'll turn green when it takes out that line. Right there on a close of a bar. Watch and see if it doesn't do it in real time. It looks like it wants a higher low to me. Now this would be a little bit of a risky trade, but keep in mind the quicker you can get your trade, the better off you'll be. And then of course you could still protect some if it pops up like the Phantom, to give an example. Or if it turns into a runner, we'll just ride a runner. Now this reverse should work. I'm testing this, so we'll find out. Well, it reversed. See the power meter 1 and 2? So let's go ahead and get our targets out of the way if I can move them quick enough. All right. Now I would expect it to come back close to here or even on top of here. Okay. And it should, after that, should break to the upside anyway. It looks like that's a Phantom trade so far. But if you ever go long, for instance, on a little break like that, be sure and just stay with the trade with Lightning, okay? Where's Lightning 1 right now? Well, it's not identified, but it's getting ready to be identified right there as soon as it closes above here. Not identified yet. Is that a pretty cool little tool or what? I've been playing around with this thing for days now, and it pretty much amazes me. Especially if you look to the left to trade the right. Because, you know, it isn't the whole idea, you're stair-stepping down, stair-stepping down. What happens when you start breaking resistance? You're stair-stepping up. Now, like I said, this is a little riskier trade to take to begin with, but look where it took it. Took it at a beautiful place. So obviously we could put our stop just in case this decides to come back, like if it rests on top of this resistance and goes back under mid-band. So what is the difference? PM1 and PM2 both turn green at the same time? Well, Chris, on your question, PM1 and PM2 can change at the same time. See, like PM1 is red. See that right here? Now I can actually add 2 contracts if I want if PM1 goes green, just by simply turning that on. See, because my PM1 is red. Now where would it change? Well, right now it would be all the way up here, but that doesn't mean it's going to be there. Because see, if this comes down a little bit, like it's trying to do, and closes, then it would be just right here that it would fire. Matter of fact, it looks like it's going to. Watch. Watch and see if it doesn't fire right above that. Watch the power meter. Power meter 1, close bar. Now it might not, because that's the same low right there, because it has to have like a low. There you go, just fired then instead. Power meter 1 just went green. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. We've got 4 contracts again. Let's see where we're heading. Well, it looks to me like we're at least heading up to here where we broke down, so I would probably put a target right under there, just so we get out of something. And where would our stop be, everyone? Well, our stop would be right under there, because that's where our lightning swing is right now. Now, we don't know if it's going to come down a little bit more and then pop up again and give us a higher one. And that's what these meters, or what lightning actually does. Watch lightning draw in real time. The new scripts aren't available just yet, Mindy. The reason is because the way the power meter works right now, if you forget to turn this off, it'll fire another one if we get a red one and it goes green again. So I want this to automatically go to disabled whenever you get into a trade, and we're adding that to the scripts, okay? Because otherwise this would just fire again and again and again. And if you had both of them on, see how that just went red? If you leave that on, it will fire again if you don't turn that to disabled. So I want that to where it will disable itself. Now this looks like a pretty good area to enter to me, by the way. See it? What's it doing, team? It's coming right back down on top of support, isn't it? 760. You want to fire two more? We can do it if it goes green. Does the reverse RD have any function in this case? Well, yes. If for instance, I wanted to reverse this trade, if the power meter was actually to go, for instance, if I was to do my power meter 2 and it was to reverse, now I don't know if I'd reverse on this with this being, I mean, this is heading up. It's not heading down. So I doubt if I'd be reversing on it. It looks like a pretty good trade. It came even down real close to 760. But do you know we can actually add on that just simply because that power meter went red? Why did it go red, by the way? Because it took out this little swing right here. And if it pops up above 73, it will add contracts. Now, if it hits the top there and comes back a little bit, it may even do it lower. That's the only thing about power meter or lightning, that if bars go straight up and there's no zigzag to it, you can clearly tell where the next swing is, right? 73. Now, if they pull back a little bit, we may get a lower entry. We'll find out. Looks like they might. Haven't gotten an entry yet. Now it should, well, it's still going to be the same spot, 73. Unless we get a little bar up and a bar back down. Then it could be right across here. But so far, everybody can see that, right? You got bars straight down. This is your first bar trying to be up. If this bar goes down, you might get a lower, but it looks to me like it's going to fire at 73. Close of the bar, no less. So that might not be a trade you'd want. That's a breakout trade. I'll take it anyway, just see if the power meter works. It just did, just 5 contracts. Now I'd probably dump some. Something like that. I think power meter will actually add a pretty nice little deal to our trading because it's exactly the way it's taught. Thrusting down, where's identified swing? Was that higher than that one? No. Still headed down, didn't it? And you got to be careful turning on power meter 1 or 2 when it's under mid-band to the long side. You see what I mean? Because you would have fired a trade right there. You don't want that. Okay? If it's under mid-band, you're mostly looking for shorts. If it's above mid-band, you're looking for longs. And if it takes out what we call the identified swing like it did here, see where this took out the identified swing right across that area right there? And it even took this one out right here too. See that swing there to the left? Not too shabby. You got a swing right across here at 19,807. And you got another one at 795 that they're not quite there yet. So I'm going to put a swing right across there also. So I'd probably bring one target down and I'd probably ride my runner. Okay? Everybody see how this will even work in chop? I want to show you some trades through here. We don't care about this one. We'll just leave our stop on. But look at this right through here. Power meter 1. You know, this was stepping down, stepping down, stepping down. If you want to take trades like this, there's a 5-tick trade at least. There's a 5-tick trade at least. There's even a 5-tick trade even on that one there that broke up. This one came down, down, down. Broke right here. 5-tick trade. Broke here. Didn't make that trade. Probably wouldn't have made that trade either. So once you don't make a trade, And keep in mind that that's counter trending it through there. But wasn't the beautiful trade predictor? Watch for those trades. They work out pretty well. Now, where would my stop be on this particular chart if we didn't want to be all the way down here where our lightning is? That's way too low to me. You know, you don't want to put a stop 25 ticks down. So where's lightning 1? Well, lightning 1's right here. Everybody sees that, right? Right there is lightning 1. That power meter will go red if it takes that out. Yeah, I traded this today. I don't know if I'll get time. Maybe got 20 minutes. After the room closed, did y'all see where YM hit its head twice with the red mid-band and everything? It was a beautiful short in the afternoon. About my lunchtime, I think is when it was. See, our power meter's still green, so we're still okay. Now we can also set this like this. Let's say, you know what? If this thing runs out of steam, I've got 2 contracts left on. If I wanted to get out of those 2, I just turn on short. I'm going to do it with power meter 2 instead. Short, 2 contracts. That would flatten me if this happens to break power meter 2. Now we don't know. This may go up some more. We'll find out. I don't normally like to get out of a trade just because a meter goes, because to me, this should go all the way down to here on a pullback anyway. See it? Right on top of that swing. But if it goes red, we can get back in it again anyway. Right? Didn't go red. Still in it. Under the swing of lightning. You're going to like that, David? Does a reverse RD have any function in this case? Well, you could, but keep in mind the reverse. You want to be careful reversing when you're up, you know, like, well, what is this doing right now? Where you've had a thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace, thrust. It's basically just heading up. So would you want to reverse that? I would kind of doubt it. You'd want to reverse more when it takes out mid-band. And what will it do? Well, you'll usually go from a green to a red to begin with. Let's see if this heads on any further. I don't know. We still weren't up yet, were we? That's why I like to do these some in the middle of the night, because I don't even get up till 7. So that wasn't a trade I took. Probably should have been up at that time. It looked like a pretty good trade. Now there's your lightning, but it's not identified yet, is it? Now is it identified? Right there. As soon as that bar closes, it will be. There you go. And our SE short enabled. I've only got 1 contract now. If I leave this on 2, it won't reverse it. You know the way Object Trader works, right? You can change that to 1 if you want, but if you had it even at 5, it wouldn't even matter. It would just get rid of the 1 that's left on there unless you turned on reverse. You want to try a little reverse? Somebody said. Well, if it takes that line out, it would give a reversal. You want to try it? All right, we'll do it on lightning 1 instead, and we'll reverse it. If, see, it's hitting resistance right there, so we may get a little pullback. We had our line drawn. I'm not going to reverse 5 though. Reverse like, yeah, 3's fine. Now we don't know if it's going to reverse there. It may just blow on through there. That's fine with me. Let's see, with reverse turned on, it will flatten the current trade and take the opposite trade for the number of contracts you have set. Exactly. There you go. You just reversed. Was that a smart move? We'll find out. What's our rule of thumb? When they take out micro, what do they normally do? They go down to medium type of retracements, don't they? Now, I would probably protect this trade because this is not what I consider to be a short. But you got resistance right there, so let's just go ahead and put it right there with exit on close. We're committed. We might as well see if we can get this. We are committed. Now, if this is going to head back up, I would probably want to fade this just a little bit right here, simply because if it takes this out, guess what? We're not heading up anymore. Now, that's a large lightning right there. That's a good way to look at this, is how large that. Wow, we got it. We got our lightning. Believe it or not, awesome. Now, does everybody see where this is stair-stepping, stair-stepping, stair-stepping? That's your low right there. If it takes that out, do you think this will continue heading up? Now, we don't know if it's going to yet, but it's usually if they're going to head up, you get higher lows and higher highs. See how they tag that? That always makes me think that very possibly they could change directions because of the fact that, well, they tested it. Usually when you're heading up, you're going to get higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. Now, so far, they're still heading up, and we just missed that one because we didn't have it turned on. Missed that little trade right there. But that's okay. You want to see if we can, I would probably, if that was the case, well, you should have probably already shorted it, but I'll bet it bounces around in here a little bit. We'll just put lines right here. To me, if it breaks this right here, you're going to at least go down to Phantom. And I would probably short it if it took out 1776. But you know what? We don't even have to do that. You want to just wait for it to actually do its little retracing, because it could do that. Now, usually when you see a definite area of support, I would probably just simply go, well, it's too late now, but right off that line, try to get 7 ticks. See where I drew my line? That's when they start going sideways like that. You don't want to get it late, though. Where I drew my line, that's where you want to take the trade. Now, does everybody know if this was to decide to change directions, this is what you'd be looking for? Thrust down, retrace, and a rollover. Or you'd be looking for it to break 793 and pull back and kiss it. This stuff right here is pretty sideways. I think I'd stay away from it. We could try for 7 if you want. You want to do that? We'll go for 7. It did bounce off our line, so I'll try for 7. Didn't get it yet. Got 7. Now, I probably wouldn't be shorting this top simply because, see, it's trying to break up above it a little bit, but remember we need a thrust up and a pullback. Sit on it. We'll see, this may even break down. This is that area where we like to box them in, but one of the problems with boxing it in, well, you know what? Let's just try it. We'll do power meter and see if it works. Power meter 1. Ooh, that's late. That's going to fill, though, if that bar closes. We'll try it. It hit resistance, so. Whoa, we already got it. Didn't move my target, got 7 ticks. How'd you like that one? Now, where's the trade again? It looks like we're breaking down, so what are we looking for? Well, we're looking for a thrust down and a retrace to between those two lines right there. and I would probably short it again if we get a rollover, because we may not get that. That's good enough to me. See how it just hit resistance? Now that was a little phantom trade, but remember I said if it broke this right here, that it would come back and kiss, and that's what you're looking for. Thrust, retrace, and a rollover. And of course I'd put my stop fairly tight, like just above that swing, just in case they decide to take it back up. Because we're just at a phantom right now, but we are starting to do a little lightning dance to the downside. Pretty cool way to trade, huh? You want to see it work around the opening of the market? Because today on that YM, where it came up to the mid band, just about the open time, I'm pretty sure is where I got in that trade because we called it in the room. Now, where would you put your stop now? Well, your lightning, there you go. You got a change of trend for sure. I'd put my stop just above lightning right there, exit on close. Now see what you're looking for when you're trading on this? Always stair-stepping up until they start testing support. You know, when Charles and I draw those lines in the room, we say, you know, that's support. Doesn't mean you have to take the thrust. Remember I said, let it take it out, come back and kiss. We drew the lines and then it rolled over. Let's see, we got 3 on. Yeah, that's probably plenty. We didn't get a power meter to add more anyway. Might. No power meter. No power meter. Nope. Didn't do enough yet to change power meters. Because of why? The identified swings. See, even though the colors changed on it, it's not taking out these swings with the close of the bar, so therefore that power meter, there it just went green. Let's go ahead and go short again if it goes red. We'll add, we'll add 1. There we go. We just got 1 added. Stop would be where? Right there. It may take us out. That's fine if it does. Looks like, whoa, it just almost got us. See why it didn't get us? Exit on close. It may get us now. I'd probably, yeah, we're okay. I'd move my stop just right with the swing though, so they don't accidentally come up there and snag us. And I'd probably also go ahead and get rid of like 3 if this bar didn't close below, and it did. If a bar closes up, you could always get rid of, say, 3 and just ride 2. Pretty cool way to trade, wouldn't you say? Now let me ask a quick question. Does everybody see not only how power meter could make you some very decent money, but also you can look at your charts with lightning and you can see where the thing would actually change trend directions even right now. Everybody see it? Where's your lightning swing on this chart? The identified lightning swing is all the way up here. These are not identified. They never took out the lows. That's your identified swing right there. So you want to bet if it takes that out right across there that it very, very well could change trends. But see, we've already got power meter green, so that's going to be a no-no unless we get a red power meter. So far it's still green. See if we can get a red one. That should have gone red, right? Nope, just closed. There it is. All right, let's turn that on. We'll go with power meter 2. Hopefully I got it quick enough. I just missed it. I'm going to take it anyway. It went green, so I'm taking it. Now, where you really want this trade, though, if you're doing it manually, would be when it takes out that swing right there. And even you could even put it there. See where it changed trends? We caught that. Well, we were still short. We caught that trade this morning, remember? We actually caught that trade in the room this morning because we said takes out 763. I'm going long. Remember that? Anybody? All right. So what does everybody think? You want to get this tool finished up so we can all trade it? I got this thing going like 50 times. I better slow it down. I think it'll make a pretty decent tool. Plus the fact that if everybody learns to really see what lightning actually does, it's just simply a matter of stair-stepping down, identified swings. Where did the identified swing get taken out? Well, when you look to the left to trade the right, you had a high here, a low here. When did this high get established? When it took out this swing right here, right? Then it went up, didn't take out the swing, so that was never established. So this is literally your high right there that has to be taken out for it to head back up. Yeah, right around the opening. Now, the one thing I would caution around the opening would be, obviously, you got to really think on your feet too. For instance, with that power meter actually not turning on and off yet, I wouldn't do that. Okay? I definitely would not do that. That was a pretty good little move up, wasn't it? Monster little move. All the way to 1996. Is exit on close enabled by default? Well, the way exit on close works, Dennis, if you go into your, we're flat, so we're fine. If you go into your little object trader here, exit on close, let me see which line. Anybody remember where we put exit on close? Been a while. I don't think we've got exit on close on a parameter. That needs to be added. Yeah, we don't have it on a parameter. Short enabled, reverse enabled, long enabled, all that's on there. But we don't have an exit on close. It's really not that hard to add it. I could sure talk to the programmer and see what he thinks, because exit on close, it just automatically, if it does exit on close, it turns it off. And I think what you're wanting to do is leave it on. Dennis, is that what you want to do? Okay. Yeah, we have been talking about that for a while, haven't we? Now, judging by what we've got on our chart right now, what does everybody see, just like what I've been teaching for the last hour? You got a lightning swing that's getting ready to be identified. It is identified. Now, when I draw this like this and I got another swing right here, that's pretty much where I would expect it, if we break down at all, to break and possibly short. You want to see if it does it? I don't remember. Hopefully I've got enough information. We'll see. Sideways Charlie. There it's breaking. See how it broke our second line right there? Look at that. Wow. Everybody see how you can see ahead of time where they're going to take it the other direction if they don't just bounce off it and keep going. See how they bounced off of it at first, but when they took it out, they were ready. Now this is where I actually traded this after the room closed. This thing just went kind of crazy. It actually went up here twice, like so. Watch it. I've got it going way too fast to trade it, but watch and see. Tell me where you could actually see. So you just got a top there, and then watch this right here. It's already too late, but see it right there, right underneath lightning. And was that green at the time? Yes, it was. Was that a short? Yes, it was. I got that trade earlier today. My wife was quite impressed. Matter of fact, I got out literally just right when it took out that swing, kind of like I did on oil today. Do I prefer using Lightning 2 to train your eye? Well, Lightning 2, John, is a little bit easier to watch. it's a little easier on your eyes because, you know, the Lightning 1 is just simply 4-range bars, and it's just drawing the lines on them. That's all it does. But it helps you to train your mind to see identified swings. Now, notice here, for instance, we're already at the end of the day, so let's just diagnose this chart. Where's our identified swing on this chart? It's right here, right? You have a high, a low, a higher high. Higher low, but not established, right? Because it never took out the top. So it never established that low. So where's your low now? It's still down here. If they break this, then more than likely they'll take this thing back down. But our job as traders is to let it break, pull back, kiss, and roll over. And we don't know if it's going to do that. It's what, 7 o'clock? You want to just see what it did? I've got it on replay, so obviously we can't see what it did. But let's just look at it on real, just real quick. And I'm running about a minute late, but I'll go ahead and disconnect market replay, and we'll put on live data. Let it go ahead and load. And we'll see what it did. Higher low, your little trader would have fired. See your little down, 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 would have fired right across here, but it never fired. It did fire right there. Put your stop under here and you've already got you a decent trade. Target would be right there at the top and you're there. So that PM meter would have caught that trade. Now keep in mind that anytime Lightning has to start stair-stepping back the other way, you got to realize you got to put your stop underneath the low swing. Okay? And there's times that it could just fake you and then come right back at you. But you got to trust those swings. See, you got you a nice trade. Now, where would our next trade be with power meter? It would need to thrust up, pull back, turn red, and then take off again. And power meter would catch that. Okay? So I'm going to be still testing it out tomorrow. Hopefully my programmer gets the deal where we can turn it on and off, because I do want that. Because I was trading with my son last night and showing him right where to get in these trades on 6J, and I had power meter still turned on, and I gave up $150 on my own account. Had to get it back after we closed because I didn't check that I had left on power meter. So I'm not going to let that happen to y'all. It will be to where it will turn itself off. Or you can choose to leave it on, okay? But keep in mind, any kind of pullbacks, when you're talking about like oil, a pullback can be 20, 25 ticks. And, you know, if you happen to be on the receiving end of that 25 pullback, that's $250. All right, let's see. Do you know if any one of your traders are using, you know, I don't know on that, Dennis. I'll try to check. David says, looks like a great tool to make dollars. Well, it will be if somebody will use it this way. Shorts, when the mid-band is that color, right? Now, when they start breaking identified swings, even though the mid-band's still the color, when they go up above mid-band and they take out these swings, obviously you can still get them, right? But the best trade was right in here anyway, after the thrust. But keep in mind that after this had gone all the way down to predictors, where would this trade have fired on power meter? Well, power meter 2 would have fired right there on the close of that bar, and your stop would have been under here. So could you get in it early? Yeah, you definitely can. All right. Thanks everyone for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. And I promise you, I'm working very, very hard to get this thing finished up. I got my programmer on speed dial. All right. Thanks, everyone. Object Trader is the best trading tool. I agree. Thanks. We'll see you in the morning. No oil inventory tomorrow. You know, it's a holiday, was on Monday. At least I haven't seen if oil inventory is tomorrow. Should be on Thursday. All right. Thanks. Good night.